I was born in Auckland, New Zealand, which is at the bottom of the world. I was amazingly awarded a government scholarship to go and study acting in England. And I auditioned for drama school there, for the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. And then I was invited to do an audition for the Royal Shakespeare Company, which was my dream. And so I did 5 auditions for the Royal Shakespeare Company and started there in their following season playing Olivia in Twelfth Night opposite Judi Dench playing Viola. I got an invitation from Greenpeace saying would I be a celebrity speaker at a rally for whales that they were having in Trafalgar Square. So Tim, my son, who was 8, and I and the nanny went to Trafalgar Square. Up in the front there was a man talking and somebody said, well, that's Roger Payne, he's the man who discovered humpback whales sing. Well, I didn't know humpback whales sang. And at the end, Roger was at the bottom of the stairs as I was coming off the plinth where the lions are. And he started talking to me. And 10 weeks after the day we met, we were married. And Roger brought into our lives such a wealth of knowledge and experience. And I began realizing that there were things going wrong with the world that I'd never realized before. So gradually, just through my life with him, through discussing the things that he was working on, I kept thinking, how blessed am I that I have had this extraordinarily interesting life, but it's been leading to this point where suddenly I meet this human being who has so much to give us and loves us and at the same time opens up more doors than you could possibly imagine. Roger and I, together, are both appearing off-Broadway in a production of our show, which is now called Sea Change Reversing the Tide, the one for which I wrote the book all those years ago. So life has come full circle. The reason I wrote What Can I Do is because a few years back Roger had this passion for us to do something together. So he wrote this piece which used to be called Lessons from Copernicus. And it was a combination of science and poetry, what he calls the knowledge of science and the wisdom of poetry. And it was about sustainable living, why humanity has to live sustainably and why we have to recognize our place in nature.
If we do not begin to work together for the well-being of each other, the planet's surge of life may well be done with.
The monolithic indifference of natural laws to our preferences is total.
The whales turn and glisten, plunge and sound and rise again, flowing like breathing planets in the sparkling whirls of living light.
We did it at Cornell University and a couple of other places, and people began saying to us, yeah, we get the message, so what can I do? And that really registered with me, and I just got this bee in my bonnet. I thought, well, I'm going to write a book called What Can I Do? And the thing was that at the same time as we were working on the show, I was learning from the internet, which I'd never used before, what was happening in the world that was just fantastic about the solutions to the problems that the world had. And Roger would be writing and getting very depressed about oceans and fish and air and loss of topsoil, and I would be saying, no, but you see, there's this person doing this and that person doing this, and there's this organization over here doing this and someone else doing this.
There is, in fact, a new industrial revolution underway that can prevent us from laying waste to the beauty of the world.
I decided to write a book using an old alphabet, children's alphabet, as a model, and putting into it all these little groovy websites that I'd found that I really loved. So I sat down to write What Can I Do? An Alphabet for Living. It is possible for the world, if we come together and work together, to change the way we're living, to really acknowledge the problems that we're giving to the living systems of the earth. We must now take responsibility for it and start to heal the systems that we are causing terrible problems to.